Well, hello. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Tiffany Rashawn, and I am the head Imagineerian of Imagiread. And this is a special edition of Imagireading Today. That special edition, Love, Languages, and Literacy. Just going to turn the screen so you can see that. Can you see that? Love, Languages, and Literacy via Imagireading Today in celebration of DIA Day. What is DIA Day? It's Diversity in Action. And the day itself, El Día de los Niños, El Día de los Libros, Children's Book Day. And so I thought it would be fitting to do something special. We are still in April. April is still here. It's National Poetry Month, Jazz Appreciation Month, and Financial Literacy Month. We've already covered all of those. If you missed that, go back a few episodes and take a look at what we chose for each respective celebration. But DIA Day is a day that is also very, very, very important to Imagiread. Remember, we create and celebrate diverse reading experiences with today's family in mind. And what that means is we cite socially responsible, culturally appropriate, and authentic literacy for today's family to celebrate, right? And so we should not leave our bilingual and multilingual reads out. This is about inclusivity, and it's also about building a really good home library and having discussion and intentional family literacy time. And so DIA Day was the perfect time for me to explore the value of love, languages, and literacy. There's a certain way that we speak to our families, a certain way that we speak to our children about what they can do. And so I felt it was fitting to highlight one of my absolute favorite publishers. They're the oldest publisher of these kinds of reads, and they're right here, right across the street. Actually, if you look really carefully, now that I think about it, this was a perfect location. They are a University of Houston imprint. Yes, they are. University of Houston is right across the street. I'm in Houston, right? And the company, Arte Publico Press. A little bit back, and I've talked about this on several episodes, I actually talked about how ethical publishing plays a really big part in where we are as a society. We need to do more about telling stories that are appropriate and accurate about who is really in the world. Children need to see that the world is not one way or the other. It's inclusive, right? And so Arte Publico Press has a really good foundation for doing that. And every time I receive a read from them, I'm just overjoyed because the stories are just so grounding. They're just so wonderful. So today, for DIA Day, pardon me, I get so excited, I'm going to feature 4, and then just 4, because truthfully, I could have done 10, 20, 30, 40, because I have so many. I'm just going to feature 4 of my absolute favorites, and a few of these are actually newly released. Okay, as usual, I am going to spotlight. I'm going to read a few pages, and then I'm going to let you do the rest. This particular celebration, what we're doing is on the supplement, I'm actually doing an inclusive supplement, 1 for all 4 reads. I would highly encourage you to check out the rest of the reads that I recommend because they're also my favorites. I just didn't want to overwhelm you. But if you're looking for bilingual reads that seek to challenge, that you can explore with, that you can have substantive conversation with, this is where you need to be. All right. And so let me do a blast from the past first. Dr. Ortiz. Oh my goodness. Sophie and the Magic musical mural, right? So we're still celebrating Jazz Appreciation Month, right? That's what we're doing. This read, as usual, there are no words. There are no words. I just absolutely love it. When I first read this book, I was blown away. There's so much connotation in this book about what we believe, what our beliefs are, what we deem as spiritual and not, what we deem as legacy and not. All the different meanings in some of the depictions. Was one of the best ways I can describe it. And if you look at the cover, you get a little bit of what this story really dives into, but you have to actually read it to understand that it's touching upon culture, right? And remember, it has to be culturally appropriate and authentic, absolutely. But it's also touching upon how we revere culture, good, bad, and indifferent. What are some of those timeless stories that we've shared over time? And how does that create inspiration or fear in our children? And so, again, keep your eye on this guy. That's what the story is kind of, sort of, really about. All right. And so, Sophia was lying on her bed. Sophia, I just learned Sophia actually has a very spiritual meaning. Look it up, the meaning. Sophia was lying on her bed, looking up at the ceiling. She was so bored when Mammy walked in and said, "Sophie, please go to the bodega and get us some milk." "Okay, let me get my shoes on." The flowers even have a space in the story. You just have to get this, you guys. As Sophia walked into the living room to get her scarf and coat, Mammy began the usual speech. "Now remember, don't talk to anyone. Go straight to the store and back." Sophia nodded and wrapped the scarf around her neck. She knew her mom would be watching from the apartment window as she walked all the way to the store at the end of the block. Once outside, Sophia looked at the mural painted on the building. It was huge. Even from across the street, she could see everything: musicians, dancers, tropical fish, and a large amapola flower, and her least favorite, a vigilante. She knew that the vigilante was a trickster who danced around people, trying to hit them with a vigiga, a little bag. But when Sophia looked at the sneaky smile on the vigilante's mask and its 3 horns, she was just glad it was a painting. That's all you get for that one. Esteban de Luna, baby rescuer. This is brand new. Look at him. He's a superhero. Look at him. Esteban. 2 pages. 2 pages because clock is ticking. By Larissa M. Mercado Lopez. Beautiful dedication, Marissa. Esteban has a cape that he wears every day. It is long and green and ripples like a flag on windy afternoons. He wears it to breakfast. He wears it to the park. He wears it to the doctor's office. He even wears it to the supermarket. He once tried wearing it to bed, but his mom put it in the washing machine. "Even superheroes need to be clean," she said. Okay, 3 pages. Esteban loves his cape, but there is one problem. His cape cannot do anything. That's all you get for that one. You gotta get it. You guys, I'm telling you. Next up, The Little Doctor. The Little Doctor by Victoria Castillo. Okay, I don't really do this, but I'm going to show you guys that. All right, you saw it. And remember, the purpose, you need to buy these. You need to invest in these beautiful reads. And celebrate all of this love language. The sun smiled on Salvador as he raced home from school. He had earned an A+ on his 4th grade science test and couldn't wait to tell Abula and celebrate his accomplishments with his family. "Hijo, I need you to come with me to the clinic. Your mother cannot go with me," said Abula when he walked into the house. "What's wrong, Abulita?" "Nothing's wrong, Mijo. Help me speak English," she said in Spanish. "Don't worry, Abulita. I'll help you." Salvador and Abula headed to the bus stop. "Congratulations on your A+, said Abula. "I answered all the questions right," Salvador said with pride. "But when our science teacher asked us if we knew how to become astronauts or archaeologists..." "Yes?" "No one knew. Then I asked, 'How do you become a doctor?' What did she say?" "She encouraged me to find out for myself." Now, I could tell you guys why I picked that one. That's a teacher, but you got to get that one for yourself. It's the last one. A surprise for Teresita. Now, this is so precious. This is so precious. But I'll let you be the judge as usual. So precious. See, these are real stories. There's no once upon a time. There's no one day. We just jump right in. That morning, when Teresita opened her eyes, she knew it was a very special day. Today, Tio Ramon would bring her a birthday present. Teresita was 7 years old. She was a big girl now. She dressed herself and went into the kitchen where Mama was preparing breakfast. Mama, asked Teresita, is it time for Tio to come to our block? No, Hajita, answered Mama. Tio Ramon has to take his snow cone cart to another block before he comes to ours. Teresita sat down to a bowl of cornflakes. As she drank her orange juice, she thought of her uncle's snow cone cart. It always made her happy when he came to her block. All of her friends would run to him to buy snow cones. He always made Teresita a special one. Today, it was not the sweet ice she thought about. She wondered instead what her surprise would be. When she finished breakfast, Teresita put her dishes in the sink and went to the fire escape window. Mama was watering her plants in the bright sunshine. Mama, did Tio Ramon say what the surprise would be? Mama turned and smiled. I'm sure whatever it is, it will be a fine gift for such a grown-up girl. And since you are such a big girl, you can help me water the plants. I'm going to do 4. Teresita watered the plants with a blue watering can. From the fire escape, she could see all the activity on the street, but she did not see Tio Ramon in his snow cone cart. Alrighty. That's it. That's all. As usual, I'm going to take care of your supplement. You don't have to do any work for yourself. You can talk about how these love languages just transpose into everyday life and how we speak to our children and just have a dialogue. But I want you to notice the theme on the supplement. I want you to notice what I do for this one, okay? Beautiful bilingual books that you have to have in your home library. And so that's it. We're celebrating DIA Day with these 4 picks. I do hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to Arte Publico Press. You guys, I just love the press. I really do. And every single time I get something from you guys, I'm so happy because the stories are so intentional. They're so beautiful. They depict the cultural appropriateness in such magnificent ways. Really magical. Really magical. You know, starting one place, going to another place. I've taught with so many of these books, and as I will this summer. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing it because that's just what I love. And so thank you, as always, for tuning in. Stay tuned. May is especially for my teens and tweens. We have 5 incredible books that you do not want to miss. If you miss it, thank goodness YouTube has a replay. You can just subscribe, right? And get the skinny right then and there. But thank you for tuning in. I do wish you a most imaginative DIA Day. And as always, have an imaginative